Uire, not Choir. But I guess that's a unit of paper quantity, like similar to a ream, like how we would use a
Okay.
ream.
How have we never heard of that as paper people?
Maybe that's the international version?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. But the choirs have been numbered 1 through 20 in various locations, and like it used a style of numerals consistent to those used in the 15th century. So like these are numbered by whoever authored it, probably. And then also like the top right-hand corner of each right-hand page has been numbered, like 1 through 116, which that uses a style of numerals that are like originated at a later date. So maybe someone who got this later like numbered it differently for
Oh.
themselves. But there are various numbering gaps in the choirs and pages, so it seems likely that the manuscript had at least 272 pages in 20 choirs at one point, but like that's been lost to time at this point.
Wait, that's scary. What if the answer key was in one
Oh
of the
yeah. Yeah.
choirs?
I mean that's possible. Maybe the like whatever cipher, whatever was used, there was some clue. Yeah. Um Yeah, there's also strong evidence that many of the foldouts were reordered at various points in history. So, like, its pages were most likely also in a different order when it
Oh,
was
who would
originally
do
written.
that?
I don't know.
That upsets me a lot.
I mean, maybe because they were probably like loose pages before they were like bound, maybe, or something. Like, maybe it
Oh.
got shuffled around.
Just
Although,
a stack of papers.
but if
I don't
you.
know why I was picturing scrolls.
Oh no, these are papers. But, like, if the author numbered them, you'd think you could keep them in order, but I don't know. Maybe someone took out some pages on purpose and reordered it or something.
No, we're getting
Right,
somewhere.
this is the conspiracy portion. So the text is written from left to right in an unidentified language, and every page contains like this unknown script. And I guess some pages do have some extraneous writing in Latin, which have largely been indecipherable as well due to like the deterioration of the text. Also, like, I guess some of them combine Latin with the unknown characters, so that also makes it unintelligible. But most of the characters are composed of one or two, like, simple pen strokes, and a script of between 20 to 25 characters, like, would account for almost all of the text. So people have tried to decipher it. They kind of tried to make, like, an alphabet of, like, the most common characters. So now you can find that online to try and decipher it yourself if you want, I guess.
Mm.
But there are a few dozen rare characters that occur only like once or twice each in like the whole manuscript. So that's weird that there's only like they only are in once or twice in like 240 pages. And also there's no obvious punctuation. And the strokes of the pen flowed smoothly, which gives the impression that the symbols were not enciphered. Because normally, like an encoded text, you'd have a delay between characters as you like check to make sure you're encoding it correctly.
Oh.
So that like kind of adds a twist to this. Because if it's not encoded, then what is this?
Right, like it's a language. Like this person also probably had practice writing it. If they're
Right.
just.
Yeah, if they're just going for it and stuff. Also,
Yeah.
I think I might say this later, but like apparently there's not a single mistake in the writing. Like there's nothing that was crossed off or like rewritten over or
Oh
like
my god.
yeah. So like then maybe they copied it from an original.
Oh, like they wrote it once and then they rewrote it again.
Right. Which could explain why there's not a stop then if you're although you'd still have
Yeah.
to look you'd still have to stop I guess to look to copy. So I
Right.
don't know. Or I guess if they made one mistake, they throw that paper out. Paper was expensive though, and like hard to make back then though.
Right, it was vellum too, not
Yeah,
just.
right. It was made from like calf skin, They said it took like 17 caps to make all the paper to,
Oh my god.
yeah. Um, but yeah, the text consists of over 170,000 characters with spaces dividing the text into 35,000 groups of varying length. So these are like referred to as words or word tokens. And 8,114 of those words are considered unique word types. I don't know. Is this too much? Because I like languages and
No.
linguistics, so
Yeah,
I
no, I like it.
okay. But the structure of the word seems to follow a phonological law of some sort. Like, for instance, certain characters must appear in each word like English vowels do. So, like, some characters never follow others, or some could be doubled or tripled where, like, others couldn't. Like, in all languages, there's, like, certain letters like that.
Right.
But, like, the distribution of letters within the words in this manuscript are peculiar. Like, some characters, like, only ever occur at the beginning of a word, or in the middle, or at the end. Like, they don't ever appear in multiple different parts of a word. So that's, like, weird. And also, like, the structure of the words like highly regular. So some researchers have commented on that. So there's like a professor, Gonzalo Rubio, who is an expert in ancient languages at Pennsylvania State University. So he said the things we know as grammatical markers, such as S or D in our language, that are used to express grammar, never appear in the middle of words in the Voynich manuscript, which he said that's unheard of for any Indo-European, Hungarian, or Finnish language.
Oh.
So it's kind of like this was made in Europe, but it almost seems like it's a totally different like language that wasn't really in
Yeah.
that area. Or it's could be a constructed language, like someone made it up, like Elvish is or something. Also, like there's words that differ by only one letter, which repeats with unusual frequency, which has caused any single substitution alphabet deciphering to like yield Babel-like text. So, like, some people say this is just totally made up and doesn't mean anything. Like, it's a waste of time to try to translate it.
Oh.
But in 1962, cryptanalysis Elizabeth Friedman described such statistical analyses as doomed to utter frustration. So she's saying it's impossible to actually decipher it, I guess. Um, But in 2014, there was a team led by Diego Amancio of the University of Sao Paulo, and they published a study using statistical methods to analyze like the relationships of the words in the text. So like they're not trying to translate it, but they're trying to like look for connections to determine if this is like a real language or like some just
Oh.
babble. And like they measured the frequency and intermittence of the words, and they claim to have identified like keywords from the text and like produced a model of the text structure and word frequencies. So they concluded that in 90% of cases, the Voynich systems are similar to those of other known books, which does indicate that this text is an actual language and not just like random writing. But obviously, we have yet to read what it actually says. But there seems to be like 3 different sections to the manuscript, which I guess if it was moved around, then maybe these aren't real. But for what we can see, there seems to be like the first section is plants. So like every single page has a plant drawn on it and like writing around it.
Oh
Like,
my god, is this from Aliens?
I mean, some people have said that. I don't know. It is kind of. I didn't put aliens in here, but some people have definitely said it came like knowledge from aliens because it is like weird. But like the plants like show their root systems, it shows the flower and like the leaves, and like some are recognizable, like some have been identified as actual plants, but like almost like majority of them are still like not identified of what this is. So it's not even sure if it's a real plant, which is weird.
A real plant here?
Right, yeah. But also, like, I mean, I know a lot of people are looking at this, so I guess. Because I was thinking, like, well, a lot of these aren't native to the US, so, like, you wouldn't know what they are, but maybe other parts of the world would know what they are. But, like, a lot of people from different countries have looked at this, and still, majority of the flowers are not identified, so
Well, right. And there are like, I know there are plants that like the Romans wrote about that don't exist anymore because we
Oh,
extinct them. So,
right. That's what I was
what are the
thinking too.
odds?
Right. If this was the 15th century, like 14, early 1400s, like probably most of these are extinct or could be.
Right.
So maybe that's why we haven't seen it. But like I put a picture here for you, like from page 32 from the PDF. Like, what is that? I don't understand.
It kind of gives Venus flytrap, but not.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Like page 6, I said, like, obviously looks like a water lily to me, at least. I don't know. I'm not a plant expert,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, it does look like a lily pad with a
right.
flower.
But yeah, the
But
other one, I don't know.
oh yeah, it definitely does.
Um, then the second section seems to be astrological charts and zodiacs, which, like, some people think this was used for providing herbal remedies in, like, early medicine. So it would make sense that it had these charts because, like, when it was written, like, back then, you had to check your zodiac, I guess, and the stars for when it was, like, favorable to take certain remedies, or, like, you needed to know your own zodiac to, like, know when to do stuff, I guess.
I love that.
Yeah.
Like the moon cycle.
Right. So, like, it would make sense if this was to be like an herbal remedies thing that you would have those in there. So, like, it does seem weird at first, but like at the time period, it makes sense. Like, it's not aliens, maybe for that. I don't know. But like in that part of the manuscript, almost everything is like in a circular pattern, which some of these like become animations when you spin the paper in a circle.
That's cool.
I'm gonna put it in the link too. It's griffinage.com, I guess, but they showed towards the bottom of their article of it like spinning. Oh, here.
You want me to go to the
No,
website?
I'm just gonna show you because it's easier. It's already here. But there's like this spinning like lady, like kind of looks like she's
Oh,
marching.
she's walking.
Yeah, and she's like
Is she
dancing
pregnant?
maybe. I don't know. I can't really tell.
Well, it's just the shape of the belly.
Yeah, she does kind of look like she's pregnant. I don't know, or that could just be the style that the artist draws in.
Yeah.
Because
If
they're
that's
also all
like the
naked, so.
most attractive thing that you could possibly be.
Right, I mean, like in Greek too, or whatever, right? Like it was like that.
Right.
Yeah, so it might just be the style back then. But yeah, a lot of them animate in that way. But some people have mentioned this, like, just because it can be animated doesn't necessarily mean that was the goal here.
Yeah.
Because, like, well, also, not all of the circular drawings, like, work as animation. Like, most of them don't. It's just, like, a handful of them that do work, so it's probably just a coincidence, but it's interesting. Also, some of the drawings are, like, super intricate, which, like, does seem a little inconsistent with some of the plant drawings, because the plant drawings, some of them, like, really don't look accurate at all.
Right, but then there's
Yeah, like, there's a 6-page fold out.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right, so there's a picture for you. If anyone wants to look at the picture, they can go to the PDF at page 158. But it's like a 6-page fold out with all these like circles and stuff. I don't even know what this
It
is.
looks like no, but doesn't it look like section views?
Oh, yeah, the cells and stuff of the
That's
plants.
what I thought it looks like a cell.
It does actually, now that you say that. I don't know. I mean, that is weird. Isn't this before microscopes and stuff?
Yes. Wait, but what's in the middle there?
I
Now I
it's
have
kind of
to.
hard to tell because that's like where the page folds.
Yeah, it really looks like. I don't know though.
Right, I mean, we can't read anything, so who knows,
It
but
literally looks like a microscope, like what you would see in a
oh
microscope.
yeah, with all the things like jiggling about.
Yeah, like literally a cell. It literally
Yeah.
looks like
And they're
that
like
center thing looks so much like a
dividing or
cell.
something too, like division of cells.
Yeah.
Yeah, like how are you gonna have that?